One day while reading history, I paused to take a sigh about the land Afghanistan, where empires go to die. Alexander the Great, he tried and failed. The Mongols, they did too. The British and the Russians, they got their ass kicked too. America's been there many years, and I ask myself why we don't learn from history, where empires go to die. They say it's terrorism, that's political malarkey. Just follow where the money goes to a corporate oligarchy. The food crops they once grew with a plow and a hoe been turned into opium poppies, growing row on row. Our infrastructure's crumbling, our social structure too. It's a corporate scam, they don't give a damn while screwing over me and you. Outrage, I don't hear no public cry about sending young men and women where empires go to die. We lost people and treasure in Vietnam, and there still ain't no upside. We're doing the same in a no-win game where empires go to die. It's a new world order agenda with a demonic rising tide. They want America's soul in a deep dark hole where empires go to die.
You can advertise your business on Night Dreams Talk Radio, and you will be heard worldwide. Why not contact us at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com.
If you would like to hear Night Dreams Talk Radio on your local radio station, let them know. Tell them to check out www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. And thank you.
Coming to you from some far point station, like a cosmic tumbleweed, both north and south of the Pleiades. Here's your host, Gary Anderson.
That is me. I'll tell you what, down at the compound, we've been having that type of weather here the last couple days. I tell you, it's not like the last couple years. I got a funny feeling just like last year. We're going to be in for a snowy, cold, wet, and windy weathered winter. So anyway, our guest tonight is Paul Roberts. He is talking cryptids. And James is out there. James, are you still there?
Yes, I am, and looking forward to some more cryptid news.
Oh, yeah. Well, aren't we all? Now, how about like other sightings like Thunderbird or other type of cryptids? What's going
Gary,
on?
Yeah, I like I said, I get a lot of calls in the paranormal hotline. So recently I received a call from a Renee that lives in San Francisco. And he called us because his house was haunted, and he thinks that his house was haunted by his mother. But Renee is also, too, from Whitefish, Montana. And he has a cryptid story, and we got to talking, and he told me all about it. But anyway, I learned that Whitefish, Montana, it was a town that was founded in 1904, and it's because of the Great Northern Railroad. So Renee told me a story where him and his friends were out there hunting for rabbit. And Montana, in fact, my wife is from Montana. She tells me there's a lot of hunters in Montana. And they encountered a monstrous-sized dog. And this dog, this monstrous-sized dog, had a German Shepherd, a dead German Shepherd, in its mouth. So, I mean, that thing had to be huge. And the creature, he said the creature put the dog down and gave out the loudest growl he ever heard. And Renee was so scared he passed out. And to this very day, he has nightmares of that dog, and he even has PTSD because of that dog. And what I did was, he didn't know what it was, but I did some researching, and I found out that it's probably a Shunka Warakon. And doing my research, I found out that the Iowa Indians in Montana, the Shunka Warakon means carries off dogs. And I said, wow, here's this thing, and it carries off dogs, and this is what he's describing. And I learned, too, that in 1896, a Shunka Warakon was shot and killed in Sun Ranch, Montana, and they named the creature Ringdocus, and it was stuffed, and it was never checked by scientists. So in the stuffed Shunka Warakon is now missing. But I said, wow, Renee, what an incredible story. I mean, he claims he actually saw one. And come to find out, in Montana, that they had a creature like that they actually shot and killed.
Can you tell the people what they look like, how big they are, and all that stuff?
Well, he was telling me it looks like a huge dog, and it was about, in height, about 5 feet in height, and the dog that he had in his mouth was maybe 3-4 feet. Well, no, about 3 feet in length. So if it's about 5 feet in height, that's a pretty big dog.
I wouldn't want to run across one. How about you, James?
No, I sure wouldn't. And I know the report he's talking about, this was like a long time ago, and there was all kind of reports. Matter of fact, I think a month or so ago, somebody shot another huge wolf in Montana. There was pictures of it, I believe, on the internet, and I don't think they've got the DNA back, but a lot of people have been saying, is it there's still dire wolves out there or whatnot that, didn't die off. But I do know that Montana and a lot of places got huge wilderness that maybe mankind hasn't even stepped into yet. So who knows what's possible out there with some of these big wolves. And wolves are dangerous. I mean, I couldn't imagine coming across a wolf that was huge. There was one on TV a guy filmed that was way bigger than a dog. And this dog was a pretty good size. I think it was a German Shepherd, too. And it was 3 times the size of it. The guy caught on video, and it was black, and it chased the dog off. And this guy would just letting his, dog out to do whatever dogs do in the backyard. And, yeah, that's scary. I would be making for a tree.
Oh, yeah. And what James is saying about a dire wolf, they were saying that the Shunka Warakon could possibly be a dire wolf. So... And I just recently saw a YouTube video of a dog being chased by a huge, what looked like a wolf.
That's what I was talking about, yeah.
Yeah, so when Renee was telling me that story, it's like, wow, that's incredible to actually experience something like that. And it's so bad that he's having nightmares and he has PTSD from it.
Wow. So... has there been other reports worldwide of these big wolves being... Because I knew in Newfoundland there was a report of, I think it was a big, like a white-type wolf. Maybe it was a dire wolf, too, but it was supposed to be extinct, and they've had sightings of it, but nobody's, got any DNA or any good video of it. Is there any other good reports around the country of wolves of this size and stature?
Well, there's a lot of reports, and you can actually Google this, but there's a lot of reports of werewolves being seen in Wisconsin. And my wife also, too, lived in Wisconsin, too. And I asked her, I said, did you ever see a werewolf in Wisconsin? She never saw one, but there was these campers who saw werewolves drinking from the water and they kind of looked at the campers, and then they just walked away. It was like, and they were bipedal. So Wisconsin, werewolves in Wisconsin, chunk of Oregon in Montana, all those big countries, they have cryptids.
I'm wondering if these werewolf sightings aren't what we call dogmen. I'm sure you must have some reports on those too.
Oh my gosh! Okay, Gary, it's funny that you say that. Okay, this one. Okay, on the Laguna Creek wetlands, a long time ago, and I forget exactly what the report was, but there was someone who claimed that they saw what they thought was a dog man. And I kind of laughed it off. And then doing some research, come to find out there was a dog man sighting back in, I think, the 1930s in Sacramento. So if there's a dog man sighting in the 1930s in Sacramento and a dog man sighting in the wetlands in, I think, the 1970s, it's possible. It's very possible. And the wetlands over here is really creepy. It's supposed to be haunted. You have the big salamander over there, possibly a dogman sighting, and it hooks to the Sacramento River. So I don't know. And I go through the wetlands a lot, and I've actually haven't experienced anything. The only thing I experienced was I got an EVP of possibly a ghost, and that was about it.
I got to say too, that Sacramento area, as far as cryptids or whatever, I've come across a lot of reports of a reptilian type things from the sewers and stuff, and maybe some caves, train caves or whatever. Have you ever come across reports of those there in that area also?
I get, not Sacramento, but I get a lot of reports of reptilians living in the sewer systems of Los Angeles.
Oh, wow.
And somehow they're connected to Catalina Island, and possibly there's a UFO base at Catalina Island. They took this aerial photograph of some kind of what looks like an underground cave or a complex at Catalina Island, and people actually look in the sewer systems and they see what looks like reptilians. And this one lady in Los Angeles, it wasn't reported to me, but it was reported to one of those paranormal TV shows, but she was chased down by some reptilians, and some other cars came by or something like that, and they went back into the sewer system. So, yeah, there's a lot of reports that I hear about in Los Angeles.
That's scary because, she was lucky because, Mary Joyce has been on our show repeatedly. She runs a UFO Bigfoot reporting center out of North Cashiers, North Carolina. And she said there's a military underground base there in the mountain. And what she has gotten reports from somebody who used to be with the government, she used to be, a little bit about Mary, she used to be a reporter, editor, and for various newspapers and magazines through the years. So she knows what she's doing. A guy came up to her, showed her credentials. She checked it out. He had the top clearance you could get. He claimed at this particular underground facility that these reptilians are not the friendly type of aliens that, James, you know what I'm talking about. They like humans, especially.
Yeah, they're here to serve man, and not in a good way, more like dinner time. It's kind of interesting thing. There's an underground base there, supposedly, too, with these reptoids. And I'm wondering, since these reptoids been seen in the sewer system in L.A., if that's not connected to some underground base in that area, too. But, yeah, there's all kind of reports out of North Carolina about those.
But don't forget, Preston Demmett said, off the California coast,